Okay, we're going to start the meeting. If everybody would please rise and salute our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. This is a meeting of the Hillsdale Borough Council on this 10th day of June 2014. Notice of time and place of this meeting has been provided to the Ridgewood News, Pascack Press, The Record, and Community Life. A copy was posted on the bulletin board outside of this meeting room and provided to any interested parties. Please notify the municipal clerk for any disability requirements necessary for attendance at mayor and council meetings. The fire exits are located to the double doors to your left. Please silence all cell phones and pages in council, and people that speak, please remind you to speak into the mic so the people at home can hear you. Roll call, please.
Councilmember DeGeis? Here. Councilmember Frank?
Here.
Councilmember Kelly?
Here.
Councilmember Lewis?
Here.
Councilmember Meyerson?
Here.
Councilmember Pizzella?
Here.
Okay. Do you want to go back up on that? He doesn't have to be here.
Okay.
Do you want to do stand so Patrick can go home?
Yeah.
Okay, we've got the appointment of Eileen McLaughlin, and she's not here, is she? No. And Susan, we're going to appoint you as Hillsdale Municipal Alliance Chairperson. Motion to approve both?
Motion?
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Do I have to actually swear you in? Okay, I can do that in your office. Welfare Director Kathy Elger for 30 years. Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, oath of office, we have a letter dated April 30th requesting approval of Michael Antinos as a member of the Hillsdale Volunteer Fire Department. Motion to approve, please?
Motion?
Second?
Second.
Roll call, please?
Councilmember DeGeis? Councilmember Frank?
Yes.
Councilmember Lewis?
Yes.
Councilmember Meyerson?
Yes.
Councilmember Pizzella?
Yes.
Council President Kelly?
Abstain.
Okay, so we'll do the oath of office, and if Councilwoman Lewis, who's the liaison, would please do it in my stead, I'd appreciate it. Patrick? Bring your family up and have them hold the Bible. Get on television. Got to do it right. I apologize, I have a bad knee.
That would be great. Thank you.
Right in front, like this way, this camera can see it nice and clear.
Patrick, do it in the middle so that they're on television for the people at home. And you can see this on YouTube after the clerk puts it on there tomorrow. So, Chris, take the mic. It's on the podium.
You can come here. Okay.
Right hand, left.
Very good. I, Michael Athinos,
I, Michael Athinos,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey
of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established
and to the government established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people.
and under the authority of the people.
I do solemnly swear or affirm
I do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially, and justly
impartially, and justly
perform all the duties of the office
perform all the duties of the office
of Hillsdale Fire Department,
of the Hillsdale Fire Department,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Welcome to our illustrious fire department. It's a great organization. Thank you, Chris.
No problem. Take a picture later, too.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to go out of order because our attorney isn't here, and we're going to go to the presentation from the Hills Coalition now, okay? What are you, the audio-visual staff?
They won't see it anyway.
They won't see it at home, it's too small, but I'd like them to hear what you have to say. There you go.
All right. Okay. Good evening. Hi, I'm Gail Mangold. I'm here from the Hills Valley Coalition. And the Hills Valley Coalition is a grassroots community-based organization that's been in existence for 17 years. We work to provide and promote safe and substance-free environment in the communities of Hillsdale, Rivervale, Woodcliff Lake, and Montvale. Our organization is comprised of school leaders, municipal leaders, law enforcement officers, health-based providers, faith-based leaders, parents, networking for a common purpose and cause. I'm a student assistance counselor at Pascack Hills High School. I was here in your jurisdiction for 16 years at Pascack Valley High School as a student assistance counselor and guidance counselor for 16 years, and transferred to the Hills and continued to support this program and this effort. Our mission is to unify and promote community efforts to create and maintain a safe and substance-free environment that reduces the high risk of adolescent teen behavior that is at risk. Our organization, as I mentioned, was 17 years old. It started several years ago with people coming together to try to have a common cause so that we could, instead of us in our different areas, work towards having a safe and substance-free environment. If we work together, we are able to pool our resources and maximize our workforce. Actually, Chip here is part of our coalition now for many years, and several other officers are with us. Detective Adam Hampton is with us, and actually Kim Saul too. But parents, residents, students, community business leaders, all of these groups together are working with a strong commitment for the town. Our objectives are to reduce the underage drinking. We also work towards trying to address the issues of host liability in our communities. We provide prevention and treatment resources for families. We promote safe homes and a safe community. We're trying to reduce the incidence of the underage drinking and any kind of drug use in our communities. We increase awareness about host liability and many other issues that are pertinent to teens. We produce a newsletter in the fall and the spring. It goes out to roughly 4,000 families. We have many different parent-teen programs that we offer throughout the year. We always have a very large spring program, which I'll talk about in a few minutes, and sometimes a smaller program in the fall. We unify and network all of our resources together and hold quarterly meetings that are open to the public. The grant for the Municipal Alliance grant, there are 4 risk factors that the Municipal Alliances must address in order to receive their grant funds of roughly $10,500 a year. So all 4 communities receive these funds, and we have to develop strategic goals to address all the community concerns that we're able to regarding at-risk teen. That one of the risk factors is peer and individual behavior risk factors, and really is just to identify first early use and try to address some of the antisocial behaviors that you'll see with our youth and family management factors. The other factors are environmental risk factors. We try to take a look at what kinds of things are happening in our communities. And as you see, there's an array of different activities there that you might see. Trying to understand, let's say, the age of first use in middle school, it's really roughly 11.5 is the age of first-time use, whether that be alcohol, and we're seeing obviously an increase of marijuana use in our communities, and with all of the things that prosecutor has been sharing with us with the heroin bust and things, you'll see more and more, of just a more aggressive effort, community-based, not just in our communities, but also in our county. The family and community environmental factors we try to address through a program which I'll talk about in a few minutes about Safe Homes program, and it really addresses the family management issues. One of the things that we have difficulty with sometimes is sometimes parents will have a little bit of a laissez-faire attitude for drinking. They feel sometimes comfortable that if their child's drinking in their home, that don't have to be concerned about them in the community. Sometimes we have issues with some host liability problems that we've seen with our adolescents. We're trying to combat that and really get that word out that it's an illegal behavior, and we're hoping that parents will take a stronger view towards drinking in their homes. The Generaltown Municipal Alliance funds are used for a lot of different things. It goes all the way from the elementary from the elementary schools all the way to the high school, in the police programs with our DARE programs. We also have with the Hillsdale Coalition with the parent education programs that we provide, so that we're trying to do it from the early ages all the way through to all residents in our communities. There's a lot of things that have happened in our regions that we like to address. Another issue that's come up, and you've probably heard a little bit about that, is the harassment, intimidation, and bullying law that was instituted in 2011. We took a proactive approach towards that because that's just another risk factor for teens that can cause them to have some school avoidance issues or other kind of mental health issues that might be a part of that. So we produced a poster, as you see there, and just to really focus on respect. Each school district is required by law to have a harassment, intimidation, bullying specialist. I happen to be that in my school. Christy Rossig is your SAC here at Pascack Valley, and she's the coordinator at the Valley for harassment, intimidation, and bullying. And we work very collaboratively together with our staff, community, and our law enforcement. The Hillsdale Coalition parent programs have ranged anywhere from Drugs 101 back in 2006 all the way to Who Rules the Roost, empowering parents. So you can see we touch a lot of different topics, trying to touch mental health topics as well as issues regarding surrounding drugs and alcohol, and just any kind of mental health issue that you might see that might put teens at risk. Our most recent program we're very proud of was the Face of Addiction. It was incredibly successful. It was hosted at Pascack Valley High School, and we had over 675 participants at that program. We started the program out with a mental health fair, and we invited all of our local treatment centers that myself and the SAC at the Valley, Christy, what we work with, ranging from programs like High Focus Program, New Pathway, Bergen Regional Outpatient Program, Karen Center was here. We have a lot of different mental health providers that were a part of that program. David Sheff was our speaker, and he is a noted New York Times writer, best-selling author of Beautiful Boy, A Father's Journey Through His Son's Addiction, and Clean, America's Greatest Tragedy. David's main message was that addiction is preventable and treatable, and to really not think about it as a moral failing, but more as something that we need to respond to as a community, to learn more about, and to try to mobilize our community to not just have a few helping hands, but to have a greater cause with more people on board to assist us. The Safe Home Printed Materials is another program that we host. This program is really just in our directories to identify homes that have designated themselves as safe, meaning it's a safe home pledge. It's not a legal binding document. All it is parents is saying that I will not serve alcohol in my home, period. And sometimes people get confused by that because they feel that they're concerned that there's going to be any kind of legal ramification, but basically it's just in good faith that you are making that agreement to tell other parents that I will safeguard my home also if I leave my home, not to leave my home unattended if I have underage youth in my home. We have a lot of different communication means. As a liaison to the Hills Valley Coalition, I'm one of the coordinators of the program. We have families, we email them regularly. We have a website communication between members. Electronic communication is ongoing, so if parents have questions, they can address those questions through the website, and then we get back to them with trying to answer those for them or to connect them with resources. I mentioned about the Safe Homes program, and you'll see on the next page that our growth over the years. We started out with roughly 300 families, and we've grown. It fell off a little bit in 2013 just because there was an issue with the directory this past year, and we hope that we'll again continue to bring on more families. This is a sample of one of the brochures that goes out to the community, and the second page is on the other side, just showing them what can you do as a safe home and what the pledge actually means. There are also things that we put on our website regarding relevant articles, news. Any of our recent programs will be, parents will be able to access those. And we have taped our most recent program, and we hope to post that on our website. We have any kind of articles that go from marijuana damages the brain to benzo blues. The leadership structure, there are 5 trustees of the organization. We did go nonprofit because it started to get too big for it to be hosted in the school, so that if we wanted to do any fundraising, we had to take it out of the school accounts because that's where it started. There are 2 co-coordinators. I'm one of those co-coordinators. I've been involved in the coalition now for roughly 13 years. And so the conception was 17 years ago, so I've been in since near the beginning. We have another co-coordinator that was going to join me tonight, but she had a family emergency, so you have just me tonight. But the organization has a president, a vice president, a treasurer, recording secretary, and core committee members that are hands-on. It's a working committee, so it's something, if anyone that's here tonight has some interest in this, we urge you to join us and to contact me at the school. I want to stress that although I'm a school representative, I'm only one cog in the wheel. This is a community organization, not a school organization. My role, along with my colleague, is to oversee daily operations of the Hills Valley Coalition, anything from managing the budget, working with the towns regarding the grant funds that are available, how we might like to use them that year, pooling our resources, bringing in speakers, programs, and things of that nature. We talked about newsletters, fundraising, and event planning. Other things behind the scenes that we do is just to be like tonight, a spokesperson for the organization. Some of our members go out to, let's say, the Rotary Club or to the Chamber of Commerce and things like that, go to other organizations to help them understand a little bit more about it, network with some of our resources in the community, and we had a really wonderful program that we did with the local police in terms of putting together a DUI program with golf carts and the fatal vision goggles and so forth. So we did that at the Hills this last spring, and we hope to do that program at the Valley this year. The Hills Valley Coalition's had many accomplishments, from facilitating and networking with community organizations, creating and promoting our parent education programs, which have been very, very successful. And you see there the attendance started at 100. To bring parents out on any evening program is quite a feat. If it's not back to school night, or you're not giving something big away, like a Mercedes-Benz or something like that, it's tough to get parents out. But when they've come, we've been seeing an increase in our parents coming out, with only 100 in the beginning in early years to 550, and this last program, 675. It was one of the most successful programs in our county. Our goals ongoing, our strategic planning will continue, fundraising, will continue to be, our needs will be evaluated. We hope to align our mission and goals with what our community needs are. We had put a community survey out and got some feedback back as to what parents would like to have in terms of future programs, and we'll continue to communicate in every way that we can. We started having some small discussion groups. We call them Continuing the Conversation, where parents are led by skilled members of the committee, myself, or one of my other committee members that happens to be a mental health professional, that will lead in discussions with parents just that have interest, that just wanted to continue that conversation when we were talking about addiction and how it affects the family. What we need at this point is continued support. We're asking for Hillsdale to continue to support us in our efforts. The 4 towns, we had asked that each town contribute $2,500 so that it doesn't put a burden on any one town, so that we can continue to facilitate and promote the programs that we have and support all aspects of the municipal alliances and the coalition. So the coalition is also requesting a liaison from the town, because it is a working committee, so we don't want the burden to fall on a few. So with any good committee, it takes many hands and just, people that are committed to the cause. So again, if people are interested, please contact me. We invite our municipal leaders to please join us at any point that you'd like to sit in on one of the quarterly meetings. This quarterly meeting takes the place of, instead of each town having their own quarterly meeting, this quarterly meeting that we hold with all of us towns present. We have all of our juvenile officers are present at that meeting. Many times our chiefs are part of our committee. Chip's been with us for many years, and that is a time for us to have some of that roundtable discussion. So a lot of good things happen at that meeting as far as keeping each other abreast of things that are going on, whether it be, the police beat or the school beat or what's happening in the community. And it also gives us an opportunity to do some planning to say, hey, what is it that we need, that we want to come together on? What is the problem that we're seeing, and what are some ways that we can address it with some creative problem solving? So on behalf of the dedicated members of the committee, myself as a co-coordinator, I hope that you'll continue to help us achieve our mission and support us in this effort. I thank you. This is just a snapshot of one of the pages on the website, and I thank you very much for your attention tonight.
Thank you.
Any
Thank you for coming,
questions?
and it was very interesting. Maybe we could beef up what we have on the website about this, and maybe a condensed version could go somewhere,
Sure.
or a link to go somewhere, but you can work that with our clerk or our assistant Denise.
That would be great, Mayor
Okay.
Arnowitz. So we could make a link to go directly from the towns to the coalition website and vice versa. Thank you very
And,
much.
Tomorrow night, I have a mayor's meeting, and I'll mention it to, if they're there, to the other 3 mayors.
Thank you. And I will be visiting each town, of
Okay,
our
then,
4 towns, so I will be visiting them. I
don't wanna spoil
have it
that
on the
fun.
summer calendar here as I get out of school. Thank you
Okay,
for your
great.
attention.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, back to the regular business. We have a proclamation for the Chamber of Commerce. I heard last week that this was brought up by Councilman Purcell. I support the idea of a Chamber of Commerce. Frank, I would ask you to work with the council people that's on your committee with this so we can move this forward. Whereas the Hillsdale Mayor and Council recognize the significant asset of our community and the thriving and vibrant downtown district, whereas the Hillsdale Mayor and Council wish to do their part in promoting commerce within our community, whereas the Mayor and Hillsdale Mayor and Council believe that an essential step to promoting commerce and economic growth is an organized and proactive Chamber of Commerce and/or Board of Trade, whose members could work towards hosting events of interest, sparking economic growth, and who could advocate on behalf of the business community. Whereas the Hillsdale Mayor and Council would like to encourage and support a Chamber of Commerce and/or Board of Trade, and whereas the Mayor and Council wish to encourage such efforts on the part of the Hillsdale business community, now therefore I, Max Arnowitz, Mayor of the Borough of Hillsdale, County of Bergen, New Jersey, in recognition of this council's desire to promote commerce within our local community and to extend our hand to local businesses to see a proactive and successful Chamber of Commerce created in the Borough of Hillsdale, do hereby proclaim that the Borough of Hillsdale and its administration will, whenever possible, support a Chamber of Commerce and/or Board of Trade, local businesses and local business owners, and respectfully encourage all residents to do the same. I do extend this council's best wishes to those individuals involved in creating a Chamber of Commerce and/or Board of Trade in Hillsdale. And that's signed by me and endorsed by the council members sitting up here. The second one I am going to do is for an Eagle Scout. And I would ask, I can't walk. So I want to read it. If you can come up here so that, you can bring your dad. I don't know if everyone understands what Eagle Scouts are all about. There's only a limited amount of Eagle Scouts. To attain the position of, or the badge of Eagle Scout is no easy task. It requires a slew of badges beforehand that literally start when they're very young children in Cub Scouts, and then they work their way up. And they have to be dedicated, and they have to do it by a certain time. I think it's when you're 17 or 18? 18 years old. And they have to have a project that's approved by the state. And I always tell a story. I became aware of Eagle Scouts. What a great voice.
Sorry about that.
I became aware of Eagle Scouts. The first time I went to one of their award ceremonies, I happened to work for Gallo Wines at the time, and I went back to a meeting the following week, and they knew I had gotten elected to council, so they were asking me what and this is the makers and shakers of Gallo for the Northeast that I was at this meeting. And, you know, what's going on? What you go? Oh, I went to this Eagle Scout Award ceremony. It was really impressive. Well, really, what did you think of Eagle Scouts? Because I really didn't get involved in scouting when I was young. I played football and, you know, all the other stupid things. And then, around the table of about 14 people, people started saying, well, you know, I'm an Eagle. And you know, I'm an Eagle. And I'm an Eagle. And out of the 14 people at that table, 10 were Eagles. I wasn't, and 3 others. This tells me, and if you looked at those 10 people, they were all professional business people that went through the ranks and were able to perform the duties that were asked of them from Gallo Wines because they were an Eagle, because of the discipline that you learned and all the other Eagles learned through the program. And I just cannot congratulate you enough. This proclamation is not enough. I think your inner feelings, the smile on your family's face is testament to how important it is to put that kind of dedication together, and I congratulate you. And I will read the whereas and wherefores because they sound nice. So, whereas Eric Hofbauer of Troop 91/349 labored diligently to achieve the highest award in Boy Scouts of America, the Eagle Scout Award, and whereas Scouting is a well-known and as a vital organization that enables development of self-esteem, leadership skills in young men, and whereas Eric has learned the enduring values of Scouting and his dedication and devotion to the principles of Scouting is an inspiration to all young men. Now, therefore, be it resolved, I, Mayor Max Onowitz, on behalf of the citizens of the Borough of Hillsdale, commends and congratulates Eric for his accomplishments and extends our best wishes for continued success. In witness of I, Max Onowitz, Mayor of Borough Hillsdale, have hereto set my hand this 3rd day of June, 2014. Thank you. Thank you for your dedication to my community. Great job. Great job. Good job. Does anyone want to say anything?
I just want to congratulate Eric. I mean, it's awesome. We've been to a couple ceremonies for Eagles, and just well done. Great job.
Okay, moving along. I'm looking for approval of minutes, closed session meeting of May 6, 2014, and May 13, 2014.
So,
Motion? Second? All in favor?
aye.
Opposed? Nay. Who seconds it?
Thank you.
Okay, professional reports. You got the borough engineer's report last week. We got a report from the ambulance corps, construction department. Any liaison wants to say anything, jump in.
We have our news.
And we have our new DPW superintendent here, so we'll get him up in front of the mic and introduce you, Donnie. This is Donald Russell, our new DPW superintendent. He's been on the job, what, a week and a half, 2 weeks?
Yeah, about that.
Well, we throw you right into the mix.
As long as it's not snowing yet, so we're all right yet. How you doing, everybody? Good evening. I'm the new superintendent hired, Donnie Russell. Just to go over some things that we've been doing in the last week and a half, 2 weeks. Patchwork, mainly from all the roads that we damaged or they damaged over the snow. So we've been putting about 20 tons of blacktop down, and we're working diligently continuing. We have a big list, so that's one of the things. 2 times a week we do that. We've been repairing storm drains, which were damaged due to the storm from the plows and the weather. Baseball fields, we started putting in new bases with cement for the little leagues and whatnot. Maintaining the easements and the culverts in town, which is Sue and I have been working on, which is a big thing now because we're getting a lot of flooding and whatnot and backup, so we're trying to keep up on that. Preventive maintenance, we just did that today to finish it off on the HVAC systems, which is a savings. It's like $200 an hour easily. We have quite a few units in town here, police station, the library, and the firehouse. I have 2 men that are very skilled at doing that, so that's been good. Storm drain inspection, we started hitting all our bad areas pulling the drains out and cleaning them, and we're going to implement a program to make sure we clean all of the storm drains in town. Painting in the Borough Hall, we did some painting downstairs in the nurse's office. Tree trimming, curb repair from the plow damage, we've been doing that in the last 2 weeks. A lot of stuff's been going on. Picking up trash, as you guys all know, Veterans Park, in the Lower West parking lot, and around down by the firehouse, and all the parks in town. Some of the future projects we're looking at is we need to put some playground mulch down. It's pretty bad, so we looked into that. We've obtained some free traffic paint. Sue has looked into that from the county, and we have some curbs and some street lines to do. Continue road patching, curb repair, storm drain inspections, and I'm looking into implementing a street program for the names. We have to update all the street signs in town. Some of them have, there are some already 9-inch extruded plates. You can see the green and white high intensity, and we're going to continue to do that. And the stop signs, speed limit signs, and of course, the one thing that Sue and I have been talking about, and I met with Jason also, is the snow removal and the leaf program, which we're working on. So that's basically what I've been doing in the last 2 weeks, so.
Any questions?
Welcome on board, Donnie.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right?
Yeah.
Can I just add a comment? Donnie came on May 27th, and he's hit the ground running, and he hasn't stopped. The man is constantly in motion, constantly thinking about what can be done, what needs to be done. As he told us in his interview, he likes to stay a season ahead.
Correct.
I think he's almost 2 seasons ahead.
Yeah.
But he's working really hard. It means a lot to him to make sure that the town works and operates and looks a lot better than what it's been. So welcome aboard.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure to work with you so far. I'm looking forward to doing a lot of great things with you and getting a lot more done.
Thanks.
So thank you.
All right.
All right, thank you. Just turn around, look at the camera so everybody at home knows what you look like now. Now we got you. You don't have to stay for the rest of the meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you. Board of Health report, for May, we received the library report. Doug, you have anything you want to add to the report? Or?
No, the report will be in this week.
Okay.
Good meeting last night.
Police Department, I heard your report last week. Do you have anything you want to add to what was said last week? For the first time, I heard our captain. I was very pleased.
You'll hear him
He was
again.
Very
You'll
articulate.
hear him
did a
again.
great
We're
job.
easing him into.
Well, I realize now that you're retiring because you weren't there Sunday with the coffee people.
I was planning on being there, but family obligations
We
prevented me
laughed
from. Gave you something to talk about too. We don't have much to add. We've continued our interviews for the new hires. We started off a little disappointed, but it's gotten a lot better. We're a little over halfway done the interviews, and we're already battling as far as not battling, but trying to rank them, and it's a good thing because we have too many people that are coming up ranked very high. So we will get that done by next Wednesday. This Thursday? All right, that's right. Okay, this Thursday, and so then next week we will hopefully Friday we will. Set up next week's schedule for the second round of interviews, and the interim administrator will join us with those, and then hopefully soon thereafter we will have our candidates, and we've been explaining to everybody the hiring sequence. I'll let the captain talk about Coffee with a Cop as far as the numbers and who was involved.
Mayor, we had Coffee with the Cop on Sunday. You were there. We had over 30 people interact with 30 people from Hillsdale and other surrounding towns, and basically we had some good accolades for all the services in Hillsdale, and some not so good ones, but that we'll address with the different departments. But other than that, it was a successful venture. I thank Detective Hampton for organizing it. He did a good job, and this coming summer we're going to be doing the child abduction program. So we're going to put that on the website. You'll see about that too. Okay, that's for
great.
residents.
Well, I want to thank Starbucks for allowing you to do it there, and
Yeah.
I believe they provided the coffee.
They provide the coffee, hot and cold coffee. They did a nice job.
So, thank you, Starbucks.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I ask the chief a question?
The chief or the captain?
Either one, just, I've noticed on Hillsdale, on Broadway, people are just blowing through those slow down for pedestrians. And I'm wondering, is there anything that we could do to better monitor? Is there,
We try to get out there best we can. We're hoping within the next few weeks, depending on our staffing levels, to do another pedestrian decoy detail so that people see us out there. I'll gladly hire a couple more cops.
it's been really,
we try to be in the downtown area. We try to get there, and so many times when we do targeted enforcement, the officers are encouraged to do targeted enforcement. We get called away on calls for service and such. So again, it's a slow. Councilman Frank discussed it. Some people are yielding to him.
Maybe it's me, but I have noticed a difference, especially at Park Ave and Broadway, right in the main downtown area, where those who aren't jaywalking are generally getting noticed.
And that's the other thing. We want to come up. We're in the process of designing a sign to put below the parking regulation signs, which encourage the people to use the crosswalks instead of jaywalking, because it's a two-way street. If we get everybody to cross where they're supposed to, then the cars will only have to stop in one spot or two spots in the downtown area instead of every parking spot. But as I've said in the past, it's a slow process, and I think we're getting more people stopping for pedestrians now than we did a few years ago, and hopefully as my gait slows down in my retirement, that more people will be stopping to let me go across the street. But I will reinforce it with the patrols that if they have the time to monitor the crossings in the downtown area and other high traffic areas.
thank you. There's one other one that at Memorial Field in the evening until late, till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. There is continuously sort of a group of, I don't know if they're teenagers or young adults or whatever, and they're there very late, very loud, and people in the area have asked me about it. I also live in the area, so I should let you know that. But it's
All right, could this be a couple weeks old, the complaints, or?
about a week.
All right.
I forgot to bring it up last week. I had
Okay, no, because I had about a week and a half ago, we had gotten a complaint through the website, so we issued an advisory to the patrols for extra checks, but we'll definitely remind them. And again, encourage anybody, because they can go what we call spotlighting the park, not see anybody, and and unless they get out and check the dugouts, kids could be in there and be loud. So just encourage the people. They don't have to give their names or their addresses. Just advise us that it's after park hours and somebody's in there, and we'll make an extra effort to double check and get them out of there.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chief. You got something else?
Just on that topic there.
Come on up. You got to talk into the mic. I know you're not used to it.
I know. We did have patrol step up, a patrol down in that area. A group was cited per ordinances, and they were in court, as a matter of fact, in front of Judge Warren Clark. And I kind of put the advisory out to them that pass on the word that the Hillsdale Police Department is going to be starting to issue per ordinances for people violating the after-hours curfew.
We had a neighbor go out in the middle of the night and started screaming at them, and then it started to get, and then she went inside, so that she asked me if I would
So
bring it
just
up.
so you know, they're doing due diligence out there, so.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Is that it? Recreation Department, motion to approve, receipt and file.
Motion.
Second? Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we have no old business, we have new business developers agreement in Surrey Supermarket.
Let me preface, As the members of the planning board who are on the council are aware, there was an approval for Insera Supermarkets. As part of the approval, there is a requirement for a developer's agreement. One of the requirements of the developer's agreement is that the mayor and clerk execute on behalf of the borough, and what has been going on back and forth between the attorney for the developer and the planning board attorney and myself has been an ongoing issue in terms of what this agreement is going to look like. I believe that one of the applicant's attorney's associate is in the audience, so I'm going to somewhat abuse his boss. This has been a push coming from Insera, that it has to be done yesterday. As of this moment, the planning board has not taken an action on this developer's agreement. They're supposed to take it up tomorrow night.
It's on the agenda for
Tomorrow night. I don't know where they're going to be or not going to be. Mr. Lamb, who represents the developer, wanted this thing moved along because he's concerned if it doesn't get done quickly, another year will be lost. I agreed that I would put this on the agenda for purposes of putting it on the agenda. I frankly think, to some extent, it's putting the cart before the horse. And what I mean by that is, the planning board heard the application, the planning board approved the application, the planning board approved the resolution approving the application, and what this developer's agreement ostensibly does is memorialize, above and beyond the resolution, what the terms and conditions of the agreement are. So I think it's a little premature, though I promised I would put it on, a little premature to ask the governing body to approve a document that the board that heard the application, decided the application, and passed the resolution authorizing the application, hasn't had its say on the developer's agreement yet.
Okay, I agree.
And I also know that some of you have raised issues about, as have I, about certain riders and additional items and the like. And therefore, I am here to answer any questions that I can answer, which are not
Certain
many.
wires? What do you mean wires? Overhead wires?
No, not wires. Riders.
Oh, riders. I'm sorry.
If counsel for the applicant wishes to come up and say whatever he wants to say, I know he's sitting quietly.
I just have a question.
Quietly in the back, hoping that nobody will notice
First,
him.
I want the council. Larry, you have a question?
I have a question. Thank you, Mayor. What is the procedure on the developer's agreement? This is the first one in the year and a half I've been in council that we've had to vote on. Is this something the council normally votes on?
Yes. It's something the municipality normally approves it because there are certain requirements of the municipality going forward with the agreement.
Is this the kind of thing that's negotiated that the planning board passes on before the council does?
Normally, it would be.
And this is, so wouldn't the appropriate motion be a motion to table until that happens?
I would not ask for a motion to table. I would simply ask for the governing body to take no action and wait to see what happens with the planning board. However, I think before the council decides anything, I know council is here on behalf of the applicant, and I would suggest to the council that he indicate who he is and indicate why his client is so desirous to have this done tonight.
Sure.
Okay, give your name and
Sure.
firm and address, please.
Absolutely. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Daniel Steinhagen from the law firm of Beatty Padavano. We represent Insera Supermarkets. The applicant, I believe, was Crossroads Hillsdale. I know that Mr. Lamb has been in contact with Mr. Bernstein and Ms. Nabby, who is the planning board attorney.
Wait, is that mic on? Just make
Yeah,
sure.
it is. I'm sorry. I'm
There you
a
go.
little congested. I can smile for the camera too if you want me to, but my understanding is, based on some emails that were transmitted late this afternoon, that I think all of the issues have been buttoned up. There was one issue pertaining to payment of development fees that are applicable whenever it is that Insera decides to start building. My understanding is that, at least from our end, it's cleaned up. I don't think that there needs to be any more changes, at least from our end. As the borough attorney said, the planning board is going to consider this tomorrow night. The reason why we're desirous to get this moving as quickly as possible is because Insera Supermarkets does not intend to undertake construction if it cannot complete the the work on the store prior to its busy season, which is Thanksgiving to Christmas. This is a liquor store, so we need to do a place-to-place transfer of the liquor license. And if the work can't be completed before its busy season, it's not financially feasible for Insera to do the work now. And it'll have to wait until next year. And that comes with a whole host of other issues for consideration for the council. Obviously, there's no building there, and it's going to remain a vacant site for another year. That's the reason why we want to get this done as soon as possible. We'd like to begin construction imminently.
Well, you can understand that my concern, I think the rest of the council, is we have to make sure that what we're approving is what the planning board approves. Now, the planning board's got it on the agenda for tomorrow night. I'm sure Mr. Lamb will be. I won't be there, but
I'll be there.
the council liaison to the planning board will be there. And as soon as they pass on to us, I'll put it on the agenda for the July meeting, and we'll pass whatever the planning board passes, unless the council wants to do something different.
Can I just ask a couple questions?
Yeah, go ahead.
I sat on this application, so I wouldn't vote here tonight because I voted there. I don't think it's appropriate for me to do both.
No, you can vote
I
both
can?
places,
Okay.
because you're the representative for the council.
All right, I didn't know how that worked. But I will say that I did sit this application, and Mr. Insera was there, and was pretty much agreeable to almost anything the planning board and the environmental commission and anybody asked. Yep, I'll do that. Yep. Oh, it was. I actually was kind of like, wow, whatever they asked for, he did. So the application was they really wanted to go wherever the borough was going with this. So my other thing is it possible for us, and I was asking if it is, to approve this pending the approval of the planning board?
But you don't know what they're gonna approve, and I think, I heard, and I don't think he can do it, but I heard that one of the planning board members, or two, are going to ask for a change. I think it's too late, and it pertains to what happened at Trader Horn with.
Again, we're gonna bring that up?
And so I don't think they can change, but I need to make sure that whatever they approve is the same thing we do here,
No,
correct?
but what I'm asking is that if this is the agreement, and if, what I'm saying is, can we approve this document if this is what, pending planning board approving this document without changing? If they change it, then obviously, well,
I was going to make the
Wait,
exact
let's see
same
what
request.
else says.
The answer is this governing body could approve the agreement as drafted before you, subject to planning board approval of this agreement.
And if planning board changed it, then it wouldn't matter, because we'd have to look at a new agreement and redo it.
Which raises the following question, in somewhat a paraphrase of one of my favorite lines. So what makes this day different from all other days? What's the difference between an approval, if the planning board doesn't approve this agreement tomorrow night? We're back in July anyway. And what impact, before you answer the question, Counselor, versus waiting for the planning board to take an action tomorrow night and approving it on July 8th?
The only difference I could see is if the council approves it subject to the planning board approving the same document, we could have it approved tomorrow night. That's the only difference. If we can have it approved tomorrow night, finally and totally by all of the parties all the entities who are parties to the agreement, we can go forward with construction this year.
And what happens if if this board chooses to wait till July 8th and for the planning board to take an action tomorrow night? The additional 30 days is the impact here?
I believe it is.
But
What's the pleasure of the council?
But wait a minute, I just want to clarify something. It's a nonlinear relationship. If we have to wait 30 days, then you have to wait the year. Is that what you're saying?
The construction timeline pushes us beyond the period where we can physically not be open.
So you will not commence construction this year if you have to wait till July 8th?
That's my understanding.
Is this required before you can start construction, or is this wanted before you can start construction? Could you start, if you got approval from the planning board tomorrow night without the developer's agreement, could you start construction?
No, because the planning board's resolution of approval conditioned approval upon the execution of a developer's agreement that the municipality has to be a party to.
And is the developer's agreement something you're asking for rather than we are?
No, the planning board is asking for it.
Planning board did.
Planning board required it? Okay.
All right, what, I heard from Tom, and I think Larry's shaking his head now that he
I don't
would do
see
it.
how we can, we heard what
I don't
he
want to
said.
hold you up if we can.
Well, we just heard from council that it will hold, we guarantee a year delay if we don't act. If we do act, there might be a year delay depending on what the planning board does.
Okay.
So that's really the choice that council has.
Eric, do you have, is it okay if I?
So why not make a motion like Tom suggested?
All right, I'm gonna ask for a motion to approve it, then we'll have this, if you have more discussion. Okay? You wanna make the
Yeah,
motion?
I'll make a motion, we approve this pending tomorrow night's planning board doing the same.
Subject to the planning board, is the resolution authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute the developers agreement
That's what you
within
want.
Sarah Supermarkets, subject to the approval by the planning board of the exact document that is before the
that
council
okay with you?
tonight.
All right,
I
so I
think
have a
that's
motion
probably
and
the
a
best I'm going to
second.
get, so that's
Is
acceptable.
there any other discussion that,
Where's our second?
Do you have a
the
second?
second with Larry?
With Jason.
Jason.
Thank you.
Jason's the second.
Oh, I thought, I'm sorry, Jason was the second. Okay, then,
Frank.
Okay, so my issue with it is that you said yourself that it's the planning board that is asking for this document, yet it's the planning board that has yet to approve the document. That's one. My second issue is, what about the precedent that this sets for other developers that come later on and in the future? I have an issue with that. I also have an issue with the fact that it's not consistent with the way our system is set up. And are you telling me that you really wouldn't be able to get this job going because of a 30-day delay?
Well, all I can tell you is what I've been told by my client and what I've been told by Mr. Lamb, and the answer to that is yes, to the last question. I can't speak to precedent. This is a unique situation based on a host of other factors. This isn't just we can start construction. There are other issues in play, particularly the liquor license, which kind of complicates things. The fact that the planning board is requiring, yes, that's true, but generally speaking, developers agreements are, and the borough attorney can correct me or add in what it's an agreement between all three parties. The planning board has the statutory role to approve the development, but the work that has to be done on the site impacts the municipality as well, and that's why that's why all three parties have to be in agreement on these things. I don't know if that answers your question, but
I just want to comment on the precedent, Frank. Truthfully, I wish we would create a precedent, because I believe that the planning board applications that go on take way, way too long. If a developer comes in and wants to develop something, and everybody's in agreement of what should be developed, it still takes an inordinate amount of time to get all the approvals. So maybe this is a way of pushing it a little forward. As long as it's legal, and our attorney has said it is, that we can do this, I see no problem with it, and if a precedent is set, so be it. Move this process along. If this develop something in Hillsdale, in this case commercially, that we derive money from, so the sooner it's built, the sooner we can derive tax dollars. But I think it's a good improvement for the town.
I mean, I'd hate to follow up on that. I'd hate to be here on July 8th saying, look, the agreement is exactly the same as it was on June 10th. The only thing that's different is that the planning board voted to approve it. I mean, someone has to go first.
Yeah, well, you don't have to, if they approve the same thing, it's done.
Right, but if they don't, we don't have a deal anyway, and that's,
I have
and
a
not that we don't have a
motion.
deal.
I have a
but
motion and a second. Any
I
other
hope you understand what I
discussion,
meant.
Doug?
I have a question. The noted changes, there's several, in this agreement. Has the planning board seen them?
I can't answer
These
that.
come from the
I know that
developer?
the planning board attorney has seen them.
No, that came from Neville.
Nylema.
Planning board attorney.
So all the changes that are in here came from the planning board attorney?
She approves everything.
This is in essence a collaborative effort between myself, Mr. Lamb's office, and Ms. Nabby's office, predominantly Ms. Nabby and Mr. Lamb.
Okay.
All right?
Yep.
Any other discussion? I have a motion and a second. I'd like to roll call in on this.
Councilmember DeGeis?
Yes.
Councilmember Frank?
Yes.
Councilmember Lewis?
Yes.
Councilmember Myerson?
Yes.
Councilmember Vizella?
Abstain.
Council President Kelly?
Yes.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You can
I'll
tell
report to
Mr.
Mr. Lamb, you did a great
You
job.
can tell Mr. Lamb that it wouldn't have happened without you. That'll-
appreciate that.
Tom,
I'm sure he will too.
pass it on to him tomorrow night. All right. Letter dated May 9th, from Dakota Fitzpatrick and Cole resigning as tax appeal attorney effective immediately. Motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed. Letter dated May 28th from Bo Petrovich requesting permission for a 2014 Pascack Valley tryout on Saturday, August 23rd. Motion to approve and receipt and file.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Okay, Sue, has every department head signed off on this? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? An email from Robert Holmes dated June 2nd, resigning as a member of the Environmental Commission effective immediately. He has moved out of town. Motion to approve, receipt and file. Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I will be introducing a name, hopefully at the next meeting, to replace him. I have to confer with the borough attorney on a replacement that I've received. Ordinance for introduction and adoption, 1408, adoption ordinance providing funding for upgrade to police department computer for the borough of Hillsdale and appropriating $72,500 for such purpose. I will open the meeting to the public. If anyone desires to discuss this, I will raise your hand and be recognized. Anyone? On this and this only. Okay, entertain a motion that the public hearing of ordinance 14.8 be closed and that be resolved that this ordinance was posted on the bulletin board on which the public notices are customarily posted and published in the Ridgewood News. Copies of said ordinance were made available to the general public. Now therefore be it resolved that this ordinance be adopted and the clerk is authorized to advertise the same according to law. Motion? Oh, I was supposed to do a motion to open too. All right, we'll do it all together. Motion to open and close at the same time.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion to adopt ordinance 1408. Motion? Second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Thank you. Councilmember DeGeis? Yes. Councilmember Frank?
Yes.
Councilmember Lewis?
Yes.
Councilmember Myerson?
Yes.
Councilmember Pizzella?
Yes.
Council President Kelly?
Yes.
Where's 1409? 1409 adoption, but I don't have, oh, here it is. 1409, an ordinance banning hydraulic fracturing in Hillsdale, New Jersey. Motion to open the hearing to the public on ordinance 1409.
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, anyone wishing to say something, come to the microphone, please give your name and address.
Hi, everyone. My name is Gail Brunner, and my address is 665 Bogart Road, River Edge, New Jersey. Honorable Mayor and Council, I would like you to be aware of the importance of passing this ordinance in Hillsdale, and we thank you very much. I am a well-respected health inspector licensed by the state of New Jersey for 30 years to protect the public health of our communities. So when I was approached by a young woman from Montclair University who had chosen the subject of fracking for her master's thesis project, I knew I had to run with it. She named the project REF, Reinforcing Education on Fracking, and we are like refs, like referees, going from town to town to educate the public about the potential health and environmental concerns of fracking, which the private gas industries are drilling the wells, injecting water, sand, and unknown chemicals that are considered proprietary trade secrets exempt from the Safe Drinking Water Act, so no one knows what chemicals are injected into the earth to fracture the new, denser shale rock, which is deeper. In New Jersey, the South Newark Basin was recently surveyed by the United States Geological Survey and revealed up to 1.6 trillion feet of natural gas in the shale below central and northern New Jersey, which is parts of Bergen County. This highly controversial method of drilling is unregulated, which means no rules or regulations. As one of my colleagues says, health inspectors regulate our backyard septic systems more than fracking. There are many potential environmental and health concerns with the storage, treatment, and disposal of the chemical wastewater. Right now, the only way for a county or a municipality to protect itself is to take action at the local level and pass an ordinance to ban fracking. Highland Park and New Brunswick became the first municipalities to pass a local ordinance to ban fracking in their communities, and over 24 New Jersey municipalities have passed resolutions, including Paramus and Closter. And we thank you so much for considering passing this, Gail Brunner.
Anyone else on 1409? Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, and thank you, Mayor Arnowitz and council members, for hearing my comments tonight. My name is Rosemary Dreger Carey, and I'm the founder and chair of PASCAC Sustainability Group. Oh, my address is 698 Alexandra Court, Rivervale, New Jersey. PASCAC Sustainability Group is a nonprofit with members from the 8 towns in the Pascack Valley who are committed to promoting environmental awareness and to living in more sustainable ways in our homes and communities. Because clean water and clean air are essential components of healthy communities, we're strongly opposed to hydraulic fracturing or fracking. Reports of illness in people and animals in communities where fracking is done are well documented, as in the reports in the documentary films Gasland and Gasland 2, where many of us first heard about fracking, but also from scientific reports that are emerging every day. Just last week, a study by a toxicologist at the Southwest Pennsylvania Environmental Health Project reported that 17 out of their 50 reported cases of rashes, GI conditions, and other health concerns may have been caused by exposure to pollutants from fracking. Other reports from all across the nation detail the hazards from fracking, and they're becoming increasingly common. Leaking gas wells, pipeline explosions, radon exposure, illegal waste dumping, and a general lack of regulation of the industry. As you know, there's no drilling for natural gas in New Jersey at this time, but there is the potential for drilling the Utica Shale and the Newark Basin. In 2012, the New Jersey legislature approved a 1-year moratorium on fracking, but that ban was allowed to expire in 2013. In the absence of a statewide ban, New Jersey towns must act one by one to safeguard their communities. There's no more important role an elected official can play than protecting the health of his or her constituents. Adoption of the ordinance to ban fracking tonight will send the signal to the people of Hillsdale and all of New Jersey that their elected representatives took the strong necessary action to protect them and generations to come from the health and safety risks of fracking. Thank you very much.
Anyone else on 1409? Seeing no one, I entertain a motion that the hearing on 1409 be closed and that be resolved that this ordinance was posted on the bulletin board on which public notices are customarily posted and published in the Ridgewood News. Copies of said ordinance were made available to the general public. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this ordinance be adopted and the clerk is authorized to advertise the same according to law. Motion to close the public hearing?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adopt ordinance 1409. Motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Comments? Mayor, can I make a comment?
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, before we vote. I'm going to vote no on this, and I want to give the reasons, and it's not because I'm against the environment or I think that fracking should go on unregulated. We rely on the government to protect us and to come up with common sense ways to protect us. But you have to go to the right department. If somebody's breaking into your house, you don't call the Board of Health, you call the police. And I think the issue here is not a local issue, it's a state issue. My understanding is that the state did pass a moratorium, and it lapsed. They passed it again, and there were problems, technical problems, where the governor vetoed it. The Senate has repassed it, and the Assembly's considering it, and I think they're working with the governor to get a statewide ban on fracking. I think that's the right way to go. I think that for us to spend time on this is really something that It's a feel-good issue, but it's not a real practical use of our time, and it's not a practical thing for us to put on our code book. As far as whether somebody would come in here and drill a gas well and do fracking in the short time before the state would act, as a businessman, I have to tell you that would I come into the most densely populated state, into the most densely populated county with the highest property values in the state, and try to put in a gas well in Hillsdale? We also have, we're in the top 10 in terms of numbers of lawyers per capita and litigation per capita in the country. I just don't think it's going to happen, and it's not that it's not something we couldn't address later should the state fail to act. But I think we really should let the state act first. I did say at one meeting that I thought I had a better chance of becoming the replacement for Mick Jagger than a business coming in here and doing gas drilling and fracking in Hillsdale. I think that's probably still true. I would like to see what the EPA comes out with. I would like to see the state take the lead on this, and I hope that they do. I don't think we're the right place to start. Finally, the one thing that's a minor issue, but it is an issue, and that is that I contacted General Code, and for us to pass this ordinance, we have to have it entered into our code. It costs us $500. When the state passes an overriding law and this becomes moot, we're going to have to pay another $500 to take it out. Who's going to pay the $1,000? I mean, $1,000 goes far in some of the departments we have here. So my only comment is that I'm going to vote no on this ordinance, but I'm not voting no in terms of a ban on fracking. I think it's a state responsibility, and I hope they act on it.
I want to make a counter comment to that because Councilman Frank and I sort of disagree on this. I'm going to vote yes because I do support every aspect of this ordinance, and I'll tell you why. Because although that the state is going to act, they've already decided to act, and may it preempt the entire field from a constitutional standpoint, I think this is exactly what government ought to be doing. Speaking on behalf of the people, to protect the people. I think it's exactly what we should be doing, and it's time that we make statements through ordinances and through resolutions regarding our environment, and it's no longer acceptable, in my view, to permit these kinds of activities and then allow environmental disasters and then pass an ordinance or laws against it. I think this is the statements that governments, small governments, medium-sized governments, and large governments ought to be making to protect its public before there are disasters, such as there are potential disasters which allow this kind of activity in other states. So I'm glad that New Jersey this is catching on in every little municipality around New Jersey, and I'm glad the state is acting. And I think this is exactly what we should be doing. And it's time that we take a leadership position instead of waiting for the disaster to happen. I lived in Buffalo during Love Canal. I remember that. And I'm sure some of you who are old enough to remember what that was like. And I lived literally a few miles away from what that disaster was. And we allowed that to happen until the entire area was completely uninhabitable. I don't know if it's inhabitable today. I have no idea. Because that's been gone from Buffalo for a long time. And I hate to see that kind of thing happen again.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember DeGeis?
Yes.
Councilmember Frank?
No.
Councilmember Lewis?
Yes.
Councilmember Myerson?
Yes.
Councilmember Pizzella?
Yes.
Council President Kelly?
Yes.
1410, ordinance to amend ordinance number 13-13, provide for and determine the rate, amount, and method of payment of compensations to persons holding certain offices and positions of employment in the Borough of Hillsdale, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey. I have to confer with the attorney. What should I say what I just said? I am going to ask the council to table this. We are going to discuss tonight things that will most certainly change this ordinance. So there's no sense in introducing this tonight and then having to change it next month again. So we should do it all in one fell swoop.
You asking for a motion to table? I'll make the motion to table.
Okay, second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right, so there's no immediate to do this. All right.
Is that a word?
All right, the consent agenda, resolutions 14-123 through 14-144. We have 123, an interlocal agreement for street sweeping services with Borough of Paramus, annual $6,000 for a period of 1 year, June 1st through May 31st. 124, authorized insertion of an item of revenue and appropriation ANJEC grant, $670. 125, online auction of DPW surplus equipment, Elgin vacuum sweeper, jointly owned with Old Japan. 126, authorized Chapter 159, insertion of special item of revenue, distracted driver grant, $5,000. 127, award of contract, automated ADA door opener installation, Bergen County CDBG to door hardware installation in the amount of $13,627.20. 128, authorization of tax refund, Block 704, Lot 4, 74 Colonial Boulevard, Wallace, in the amount of $4,042.96. 129, authorized redemption of premium, Block 1111, Lot 9, 40 Sycamore Avenue, in the amount of $81,046.53. 130, authorized renewal of PR liquor license Benzies. 31 is authorized renewal of PR liquor license Asaboco. 132, authorized renewal of liquor license Dynasty Chinese Restaurant Group, Golden Dynasty. 134, renewal of liquor license ShopRite. 135, renewal of liquor license Bottle King. 136, liquor license Four Palms, the Cornerstone. 137, authorize the mayor and clerk to execute an employment agreement for licensed sewer operator William Hahn, term expires December 31st, 2015. 138,
Mayor.
authorize the mayor and clerk. What?
Mayor, can I ask that the provisions term expiration December 31st, 2015 be stricken from 137 and 138 while the agreement itself is supposed to expire? It is not a term appointment. It is merely an agreement term and not the term of the office.
Okay.
If I change it to the agreement.
Thank you.
138, authorize the mayor and borough clerk to execute an employment agreement for fire official Darren Blankbush. Term expiration, or what the attorney just said, December 31st, 2015. 139, authorized taxes collected to issue tax refund to Block 1303, Lot 21, 3 Lawrence Street, Olson, the amount of $3,598.63. 140, civil rights resolution. 141, authorized inclusion in the Bergen County Community Development Program, Urban County Entitlements Program, July 1st, 2015 to July 30th, 2018. 142, supporting A900 loosening restrictions on screen cleaning. 143, authorized tax collector to issue estimated tax bills. This is not something that the borough is forced to do. It's because the state hasn't approved the budgets yet. 145, and engineering costs associated with NJDOT project Saddlewood Drive, Kent Road, Bela Avenue. Engineering and survey services of $19,945 and construction management services part of the grant. 146, execute agreement with Bergen County Department of Public Works for snow plowing program 2014 to 2016. 147, authorized holdover contract for janitorial services. Motion to approve?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Anybody
Can you pull
pulling anything out?
129, please?
129, which is 40 Sycamore Avenue.
Never mind, hold on. All right, go ahead, just pull that one.
Pull it?
Yeah, please.
Okay. We're going to do everything that I just read except 14129, which is redemption.
We got one more.
Oh, okay, what's the other one?
How about 145?
Okay, first, 129 is 40 Sycamore Avenue, redemption of premium block. And what number did you say, Doug?
145.
14145.
145, which is
Engineering costs.
engineering costs associated with NJDOT project Saddlewood Drive. For everything that I said except those two, motion?
Had it.
Second?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman DeGeis?
Yes.
Councilman Frank?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lewis?
Yes.
Councilman Morrison?
Yes.
Councilman Pizzella?
Yes.
Council President Kelly?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to take the other two separately, 14-129. What?
So I'll make a motion first, I'm sorry.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Just what is, I was curious what this is. I just didn't, I looked at it, I didn't understand, I just want to know what it is before I voted on it, that was all.
You want to explain, sir? Eric?
Apparently, back in August of 2011, the town conducted what I assume it was its annual tax sale, which basically we put those items out for sale for purpose of purchasing the tax sale certificates. Usually what happens with them is it basically it was 2010 delinquent taxes. There's a premium for the such item and an interest rate, and it's bid upwards in terms of the payment. Apparently, the homeowner is now paying us, has paid off the redemption, and therefore we are being asked to submit the redemption back to the money that the bank paid, which we've been paid, is now payable back to them, so it's not a double payment, and the premium as well goes back.
Thank you.
Okay. Motion?
Motion.
Second?
We had a motion.
Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember DeGeis?
Yes.
Councilmember Frank?
Yes.
Councilmember Lewis?
Yes.
Councilmember Myerson?
Yes.
Councilmember Pizzella?
Yes.
Council President Kelly?
Yes.
Okay, 14-145, engineer costs associated with NJDOT project Settlewood Drive and Kent Road, Bala Avenue. Engineering and survey services, $19,945, and construction management services, part of the grant. Motion?
Motion.
Second? Any discussion?
I have a question after the second.
He's got a question.
Okay.
Yeah, it's done.
My understanding was that the engineering and surveying services were included in the grant, and the construction management is not, or is it the other way around?
The other way around.
So construction management is part of the grant, so we're approving 19,000,
To pay for the engineering costs.
yeah, which is coming out of what budget? The 100,000 we put in for the road program?
No, I spoke to the interim CFO about this because we were concerned last week, and I said, where did we get the engineering and surveying services from last year's road program? If we, let's see if we could kind of follow it through. Last year, what we had done was a capital ordinance for the road program. This was not done as a capital ordinance. So therefore, she's going to take it out of operating. There's money in the operating budget that she's going to take it out of this year. My suggestion going forward would be to get all the engineering surveying services fees for all the different projects, develop a line item so that when things like this come up, we know exactly where to take it from. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
No, that doesn't answer the question. The question was, where are we getting this $19,000 of change? Is it coming out of the $100,000 that we
No,
budgeted for
operating.
this?
No,
What?
operating.
Where in
That's what she
operating?
just said.
I didn't get the exact form. Wait a
They're
minute.
not taking it out of the 100,000. She has locations within the
Yeah,
regular
she-
operating budget.
You
to
can't
take the
move that until
19,000.
November.
You're
No,
not
no.
privy to this?
No, we discussed it last week here, because none of us knew that it was an extra $19,000 when we originally did our budget. So the question then becomes is where it's coming out of. There's only one place it can come out of. First of all, the $100,000 is part of our operating budget. We didn't have any separate outside, we're not borrowing money. It's still part of our operating budget. There's only one place I think we're legally allowed to take it out of now before November. Am I wrong about that?
No, sounds right to me.
No, you can take it out of anything in
How
the
can you take-
operating budget that pertains to roads and, repair.
Well, it pertains to roads. That's arguable. Counsel?
If the CFO is going to certify that there is money available and certifies what the line item is, and I believe this is subject to the CFO certification, then you are taking it out of where she believes the appropriate amount is.
I mean, that's the appropriate answer, but as long as it comes out of the right budget line, I'm supporting this because this is normal and customary, is my understanding, and I'm not willing to give up the $150,000
Giving out more
grant.
than that, yeah.
So I'm going to support this, but as long as the CFO pulls it out of the correct location, because a transfer can't come till November anyway.
Well, the only issue, why I bring this up, is this reduces our road program from $100,000 to $80,000, And then out of that 80 comes more engineering and survey costs for, and those are not covered by.
But this is, except that at the time that we passed our budget, we didn't have the $150,000 either. So although it reduces the 100,000 to 80, look, money is fungible. As long as if you have one pot of road stuff.
My point is to make people aware of the fact that this money's coming out of the road program. That's the point.
But this is a road program.
Part of the road program.
It's coming out of the money that was allocated for forest insurance.
I think what Doug is saying, we're not spending what people perceive us to be spending $100,000.
Except that people had no right to perceive that we were spending the 150 either, because we hadn't gotten that till after our budget was
The
passed.
point is that we
So
got.
net, we're up 230 rather than.
But the point is, we got a substantial grant, and we want to
This
take
was-
advantage of that grant.
This was a question, not a debate.
Yeah.
This was
No, it's
a
just
matter
that
of-
I'm not sure, we're making
question, that's all.
statements that make sense to me.
Bottom line is, we're
Well,
going
I'm
to move
sorry,
forward
it makes
with
sense
the
of it.
grant that we received and leave it up to the CFO as to where she's going to take the money out of.
And that's all I wanted to know.
Sue, tell the CFO to make sure she notified the finance committee as to what line item she is prepared to take.
Mayor, just one thing, isn't this for the two, aren't there two separate grants
Wait a
here?
minute,
The
talk
one-
into the mic.
Aren't there two separate grants here? The one grant was for Saddlewood and the other grant was
Right.
for Kent and Bella, right?
Mhm.
So this is both grants.
It's a lot more, yeah.
It's a lot more than what we're talking about. It's
Well,
both
I don't
grants
think it's
included.
that high, but it's
It's like
like
350.
250, 300,000.
Yeah.
We didn't get what we were asking for.
No, my understanding is we got 250 for one and 150 for the other, so it's $400,000.
We got $400,000.
Did the 400,
We
yes,
got
you're
more- we
correct.
got
It is
both
almost
grants.
Yeah,
$400,000.
so this is based upon the 400,000, two grants, not
Yeah,
just the
and
one.
we certainly don't want to lose that, even if we reduce the $100,000 road program. But let's leave it up to the CFO. Okay, I have a motion and a second. Roll call, please, on that resolution.
Councilmember DeGeis?
Yes.
Councilmember Frank?
Yes.
Councilmember Lewis?
Yes.
Councilmember Myerson?
Yes.
Councilmember Pizzella?
Yes.
Council President Kelly?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to take the next two separately, I believe. 14133, renewal of license for Palisade Park Liquors, Lou's Tavern. Motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Roll call, please. Roll call, please.
Councilmember DeGeis?
Yes.
Councilmember Frank?
Yes.
Councilmember Lewis?
Yes.
Councilmember Myerson?
Yes.
Councilmember Pizzella?
Yes.
Council President Kelly?
Abstain.
14144, payment of bills. Motion?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Roll call, please. Say your thing, gentlemen, when you get to you.
Councilmember DeGeis?
I approve all and any bills except for anything to do with the fire department.
Councilmember Frank?
Yes.
Councilmember Lewis?
Yes.
Councilmember Myerson?
Yes.
Councilmember Pizzella?
Yes.
Council President Kelly?
I vote yes on everything, other than those pertaining to the fire department.
Can't they just say that once for the year?
No.
Get a sign that you hold up. At this time, I'm open the meeting to the public. Anyone wishing to address the council, please come to the podium and speak into the mic. Give your name and address. Anyone? Yes, Elizabeth?
Good evening. I'm Elizabeth Ward. I reside at 47 East Liberty Avenue in Hillsdale. I come before you tonight to update you on the Hillsdale Summer Concert Series. There have been quite a few changes since I last spoke to you back in May. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the sponsors who are coming on board slowly but surely, and they include the Hillsdale Professionals, Hillsdale Emergency Services, ambulance members, the PBA Local 207, and the Fire Department. I'd also like to thank the Borough Hall employees who have been very helpful with accounting and paperwork and what have you. And of course the mayor and council for allowing the concert series to be held. So my plans are to begin the concerts on Wednesday, July 9th at 7:30. That's a time change. We started at 8 o'clock last year, but as we ran them later in the season, it was getting darker and darker, and people were concerned about that. So July 9th in Veterans Park, 7:30. And as funding allows, I intend to continue the concerts on all Wednesdays through August 27th, the last Wednesday before the Labor Day weekend. And I checked the calendar. I don't think we have any conflicts with holidays or holy days or anything, so we'll be able to go straight through. I have The Thursday evening at Veterans Park is the outdoor rain venue. And should we have the misfortune of a double rain out, through the generosity of Pastor Brian Neville at the Hillsdale United Methodist Church, we'll be able to move the concerts indoors to the church hall. And this is at no cost to the concert series or the borough. I think it was a really generous offer on their part. So Wednesday, the 9th, we expect to welcome Willie Wilson and the Willies, to be sponsored by the fire department. The 16th, Dr. Dubious and the Agnostics, who was postponed due to rain and the conflict on the calendar last year. Other groups that I have in mind include an acoustic duo that has a program to celebrate the 350th anniversary of the state of New Jersey by featuring songs from singers born in New Jersey or those who made it big in New Jersey. And to keep people guessing from week to week, I'm looking at a rock tribute country western band. And what I think could be the highlight of the summer concert series this year will be Family Night, Wednesday, August 6th. I plan to have a children's concert starting earlier, probably around 5:30. I'm still looking for a band for that program, and maybe some children's activities, face painting, balloons, etc. Followed at 7:30 by the Glen Rock Pops Orchestra, a 50-piece orchestra playing right down in the park. So I'm pretty excited about that. I think we'll try and give that a lot of publicity. And then in the following weeks, we'll have folk bands and rock bands. So we'll open with popular rock band, the Willies, and finish hopefully with another popular rock band, someone from the immediate area. I'm also looking at young adult concerts. Jam Face, who played last August, the first time we held a young person's concert, would like to come back, and they're proposing to come with some bands that they know. I'm waiting to hear from them on a date. And the School of Rock, which appeared at the Environmental Day back at the end of April, is interested in coming back for another concert. So we're looking at Friday nights in Veterans Park for those concerts. So I'll soon get my publicity machine going. I really hope to make the deadline for the My Hillsdale newsletter so that all residents will have a copy of the concert schedule and sponsors. And then, of course, Pascack Press, Community Life, Patch.com, RecordNorthJersey.com, etc. So, again, I thank all of you, and I thank all the sponsors and the Borough Hall employees.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
You're welcome.
A couple of comments. One, make sure that all the concerts are, you communicate it to the clerk and to Denise, so that it goes on the board and goes out on our email blast.
Right.
As far as the teen concert's concerned, based on what took place on the on Green Day, Environmental Day, maybe we should look into getting that trailer again from the county. That has to be coordinated with the DPW superintendent and the clerk. They need advance notice.
Right, Sue and I have spoken about that.
Oh, okay. All
because I haven't finalized every single Wednesday.
No, I'm just talking about the team one, because that, their type of performance is better presented on something like that than everything else. Maybe even the ensemble, a 50-piece orchestra, but especially the teen groups, when you have multiple groups coming up and down.
I actually asked the Glen Rock Pops, and they think they have too many members to fit on the stage. Apparently they have two stages, one bigger than the other.
We do have a bigger one.
And I think that was under repair. Did I hear that from someone? But we will definitely look into that and see.
Like I said, they need a lot of, because it's booked quite often. We were.
Yes.
It was just a freak that the temporary superintendent, Mr. Franklin, was able to get it for the green thing. It just happened to be available, but try it. Look for it now. You got a date. Let's look for it now for whatever date that we can get. It doesn't cost anything. It's just a matter of picking it up and dropping it off.
Very good. I'm hoping that we can get it at least twice this summer.
No, I hope so. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, anyone else wishing to address the council? Seeing no one, I'll close the meeting to the public and we'll move on. We're going to go for last go-around, and then we're going to go to closed session. I'll start with the well, let's start with our professionals this time. Sue, anything for you?
I wasn't ready for that.
I'm talking to the mic.
Yes, I have to move to get my stuff. I attended a shared service meeting with other administrators of the Pascack Valley and Lower Valley. Again, we go every month, we get together, and there's different topics on the agenda. One of the things that we had spoken to was that a couple of our members had gone down to Trenton, had spoken to some of the professionals at the top levels about helping us out with sharing services, different things from energy to education. They presented themselves very well, and from what I understand, they were shot down and said, we need more explanation. So they went back and they explained everything in writing, paragraphs. Well, I think if they approved or agreed to about 5 out of about 12, it was a lot. So we're going to keep on moving to see what we can do to bring back to different municipalities on the local level. We also had a meeting on Friday afternoon with Public Service, Electric and Gas, with all there around the whole table. We talked about the Energy Strong program that's going to be coming in through Hillsdale, doing various projects at the substation. They will have some outreach programs for the residents, because I know we stressed at the table that our residents need to know what's going on because they don't like surprises. So they said every time they come in, they will sit, we'll have pre-com meetings, outreach groups, flyers, information. So we'll post everything on the website that we can and link it. A lot of good things going on, a lot of upgrades so that that'll be transformed a lot better to the different poles, mainly for the large areas like the Borough Hall, the schools, ShopRite, and there was one more larger area that they're trying to improve the service since it's starting to get aged. So we'll keep you posted as things go on. Watch the website, watch the email blasts, and we'll keep the residents as informed as we can. Thank you.
Eric,
A couple of things, Mayor. I believe the administrator provided to all the governing body members a copy of a draft ordinance, not up and down, so, regarding bamboo.
Yep.
Bamboo. You provided this today. I would ask the governing body to take a look at it and give me your comments and thoughts for the possibility of an introduction at the July meeting. I won't do my politics update. I'll wait till later.
No, all right, anything else?
That's it.
Okay, we'll go to Larry.
I've got nothing.
Excuse me?
I've got nothing. It's an early night.
Wow.
I know the
I love
mayor's-
it.
I know the mayor is hurting. Welcome back. And I
Thank
want to
you.
get through this meeting as quickly as possible to save your knee.
Chris?
I just want to invite the seniors this Friday to George White Middle School. Thursday night, George White Middle School's 8th graders will have their dance on Friday. They've always, for the past few years, invited the seniors to come out Friday morning for the dance, and they're entertained with Mr. Shuck's advanced ensemble as well as the chorus. So come on down to George White and have some refreshments and enjoy the music.
This Saturday, I'm honored to attend as a junior officer a 20-year party, a 20-year celebration for service for Tom Kelly, Deputy Chief Jimmy Domville, and Firefighter Jack Costello. That's going to take place, and Tommy, as captain in your leadership through the fire department, I appreciate everything you do every day.
Tom?
Just two things. A request from the chairwoman of the planning board. Can we bring add closed session, a request from the planning board?
Excuse me?
Can we add to close the request from the planning board? Just something that's discussed and closed.
Regarding?
The using the room for special meetings.
I'll be, I only want to discuss it in executive session. Let me discuss it quickly. I was made aware earlier this evening from the interim administrator, actually also by emails, relative to a desire of the planning board to have special meetings and a quote-unquote room rental. This is not a apartment house. This is a conversation I have had with the planning board attorney. I've had it with the mayor. If there is a desire of the board to have a special meeting, the key elements to a special meeting are the payment of the attorney and the engineer and anyone else who is necessary to be there. The board should advise the applicant, if they want to have a special meeting, that they should be prepared to pay X dollars for either toward the escrow or in essence for the planning board attorney, the professionals and the professionals only. Going out and having them pay a fee for using this room, I won't say what it borders on, but you can render your own decision, because if we're going to do it for developers, are we going to do it for everybody? This is not a rental. I mean, the key is if they don't want to pay the escrow for the professionals, then you don't have a special meeting.
Thank you. One other thing. As we were introduced to our new superintendent tonight, I really wanted to thank Butch Franklin, who has served this borough for many, many years and volunteer and paid. He was asked to help us out with this at very little pay. He was restricted in what he could get because of his pension, and he did an incredible job for what he was thrown into. He got caught up in some of the letters to the editor. I think that was politics. I don't think he deserved it, and I want to personally thank Butch for ignoring that and doing his best for what he could for the borough. Even since he's been off the payroll, he's still working with the incoming superintendent, helping him out, learn the town, what everything goes. He's still your OEM coordinator, which for those of you who don't know what that involves, that really means if there's a tragedy in the borough, he's the guy. He's the one who's going to help bring this borough back on its feet and help the police and fire and ambulance get through everything they need. He's an incredible public servant, and if you see him, shake his hand and say thank you, because he does deserve it. Thank you, Butch, for everything you've done. That's all I got. Thank you.
Frank?
I just wanted to update the council and public on the cleanup that's going to happen at Beechwood. I had a lot of residents ask me, when is it going to start? And it's my understanding that the Environmental Commission is going to start having meetings on it at the end of June, so I would ask you to all just stand by, keep checking the website and the blog. We've already had some cleaning done by Raymond Brothers. Some debris was moved, some trees were brought down that were in the obstacles and sort of hazardous. So just stand by, and whoever wants to help out, it's greatly appreciated. I want to thank the mayor and council for the proclamation for the Chamber of Commerce. I think that will go a long way. Also, let everybody know that the county has agreed to pay for and include the plaque on the Patterson Bridge. It will state Patterson Bridge, named for David P. Patterson, a founding father of Hillsdale, and the train symbol will be in the back. And I want to thank the county for doing that. And also, last thing, I actually had the pleasure of going to my son's baseball game on Sunday in Hasbrook Heights. And most of you know that I'm not from Hillsdale, but I have to say that, I took a step away from the bleachers and I went to the other side, and all of the Hillsdale people were sitting on one set of bleachers in the shade. They were triple the amount of the Hasbrook Heights people. There were parents, there were grandparents, there were kids, there were aunts, there were uncles. We were the loudest. I mean, it was a lot of fun. And for a moment there, I realized what a special place Hillsdale is. And it was nice because they also won. So congratulations to the 9U and 10U and 14U Hillsdale baseball travel teams. Thanks a lot.
Doug?
Yeah, just to comment, schools will be getting out in a week or so. Congratulations to the kids and the teachers who made it through the year, and please drive carefully, because they'll be out on the streets. The Legion is hosting a luncheon on Saturday for our members who are Korea War veterans, and we have about 60 people coming. And this is the 60th anniversary of the armistice of the Korean War, so I think it's fitting that we recognize them, and I'm very happy to be part of that. On June 30th, we'll be going to the Hillsdale Board of Education meeting, requesting permission to name 2 of the fields in town, the White School Field and the upper field at Smith, in honor of 2 of the young men from town who were killed in Vietnam. So if anyone would like to come and support that, it'll be June 30th at the Board of Education. And congratulations, Tom. 20 years is a long time. You don't look that old.
I feel it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Doug. And thank you for all your work on recognizing the gentleman that gave the ultimate sacrifice to the community. And I would point out that Doug only mentioned two of the gentlemen that we're going to the high school, to the local schools about, but all of them are going to be recognized. It's just that these two are school-owned fields, but you are planning on naming, and we will have ceremonies for each one, and I encourage residents and council to be participants in that. Everyone knows elections were last week, and one of the things that I want to point out to you is that presently, because of everything that's going on in this country with some individuals that have problems with society, we have a police officer at every school during the, while the school is open for elections. Obviously, especially on a primary, the people in that school is quite limited. And I would ask the council to consider, maybe we should look into merging the two schools into, the three schools into one, into George White. I have spoken to the board, and I've spoken to Sue about this, and the school can accommodate, but it does put a burden on our residents because they'd have to travel to George White instead of going to Meadowbrook or Smith. So it's something to consider. It would be a big, considerable savings, and I don't think we can do it for just the primary and not the, you either do it all or not. And it's something I'll bring up this year. The election should be held the way it is. It's too late to change.
I mean, I'd like to, before we bring it up to discuss in council, I've heard this before, and this is going to evoke a lot of debate, because quite frankly, I live in District 6, and I think this would have the effect, in essence, of disenfranchising a lot of voters, and I think it's a problem. I really do.
Well, I don't
think
see
it's a major problem.
People still drive to the polls. It's a matter of driving another half a mile.
I don't think so.
Well,
I
it's
disagree
open for
with you.
discussion. I don't want to discuss it tonight. I'm just telling you my observations from last. When you have 200 people coming to vote in 6 polling places and paying for 14 hours of police overtime in 3 schools, it's a lot of money. It doesn't come out of our budget, but it comes out of our tax dollars, because the school budget is our budget. It's something to think about. And I would say no one from the school board has reached out to me to ask me to do this. I'm just making an observation. The other thing, I had the dubious pleasure or lack of pleasure of watching this meeting on television last week. I am constantly laughed at because I harp on the fact that you've got to speak into the mics. It is literally impossible for some people at home to hear some of the people that have a lot to say and have important facts to bring out. But when you turn to your left or you turn to your right and you're not speaking directly into the mic, the people at home can't hear you. And I can guarantee you there's a lot more people at home trying to find out what's going on than there are in our audience. So please look into the mic, and for future, I would appreciate if the council Finance Committee would think about doing something, what I don't know, to improve the audio. Video leaves a lot to be desired, but when you can't hear it, it really is not nice. I want to thank everyone for their good wishes on my surgery, and the council for the plant. I love it. I just have to bring it down here for Canvas to tell me what to do so I don't kill it. Because I have done that in the past with plants. But I've had some good success lately. And lastly, I too want to congratulate Tom and Jack Costello and Jim Domville for 20 years of services to the Emergency Fire Department. What?
Jeff's got 20 as well. He's
Who?
not- Jeff Albon.
Yeah, but he's not going to be there.
Yeah, but he's still got 20.
Jeff Albon. Jeff is this thorn in my side because Jeff doesn't show up for anything, so I don't recognize him. But putting 20 years in across the street, no matter what your level of service is, and the 4 individuals that I mentioned have very good percentages, they come to a lot, they participate in a lot, is a trying task. People have to, and I say this not facetiously, you have to feel the heat to know the job. It is not an easy task to be a volunteer fire department in any community. When you're running out of your house in the middle of the night, but more importantly, when you're running out of your house during dinner time and your wife, or sometimes the husband is looking at the wife who runs out of the house and says, "Where are you going?" And says, "I'm sorry, but there's a fire call." it doesn't go over well. When you miss your children's events, baseball, I didn't even know my kids played soccer until my granddaughter played, because I had never gone, because I was always playing fireman or playing councilman. So thank you for your 20 years of service, Tom, and thank you everyone across the street, and thank you Jeff Albaum, Jack Costello, and Jim Donville. With that, I'll seek a motion to go to closed after Eric reads his thing.
This is Resolution 14148 to provide for a meeting not open to the public in accordance with the provisions of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act. Whereas it is necessary for the Borough Council, the Borough of Hillsdale, to discuss in a session not open to the public certain matters relating to the item or items authorized by NJSA 10:4-12B and designated below 8, matters relating to the employment relationship, police chief, police captain, police department personnel, CFO, and administrator. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Borough of Hillsdale, assembled in public session this date, an executive session closed to the public be, and the same is hereby authorized for discussion of matters relating to the specific items designated above. It is anticipated deliberations conducted in closed session may be disclosed to the public upon the determination of the Borough Council that the public interest will no longer be served by such confidentiality, and that formal action may be taken by the governing body at the conclusion of the executive session.
Motion?
So moved.
Second? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, we'll take a 2-minute quick break and get back to